He's got momentum, top of the stretch. Johnny Jack has taken over the lead. Calamanco rides the rail.
The 2010 Strube winner, Geronimo, the son of Congaree, returning from the Breeders' Cup with an impressive win in the Citation Handicap at Hollywood Park. His trainer is our guest this week. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Across the Board. I'm Peter Lurie. Our guest this week didn't exactly start on the racetrack. In fact, he started out as a psych major. It did not take, but what did take is an MVP barn of 20 here in Southern California. And alongside my partner, Millie Ball, it is our pleasure to welcome trainer Michael Van Pender to Across the Board. Michael, welcome.
Thank you, Peter. It's a pleasure to be here.
What an unbelievable year you've had when you think you only took your license out, 5 years ago. And here you are with two horses that have both each won a multiple graded stakes and a career best for you. How does that happen so quickly?
You know, I'm so fortunate to have owners. If I didn't have owners behind me and supporting me every step of the way, I'd still be training the $10,000 claimers, the lower level claimers that I got started with. And luckily, they've given me the opportunity in the open checkbook to go to sales and purchase these fine horses like Geronimo and Ultimate Eagle. And we've been on quite a run, but if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair.
Michael, let's talk about it, too. You went to the sale, $70,000 for both of them, each $70,000. What was it about these horses that you were intrigued by?
Oh, you know, Mr. Wright is instrumental in purchasing these horses, and so am I. We have a system that is in place, and we feel that it's a very good system. We burn the midnight oil and look at the breeze shows from each one of these 2-year-old sales. We focus on the 2-year-old sales, and then we have a whole litany of other different checkpoints that each horse has to hit in order for us to finally land on each individual. We've made a couple bad purchases, but for the most part, the majority of them have been good. We go to the sales probably with about maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 darts to throw each year, and we have to hit the bullseye each time. So we've found that spending between $200,000 and $300,000 is not our cup of tea, so we immediately X those horses out in the catalogs, and we focus on the horses that we believe are going to be a little bit more affordable.
B.J. Wright, longtime owner here in California. How did you guys get together as far as the sales ring is concerned?
As far as the sales ring is concerned, I mean, he gave me one horse 5 years ago. Luckily, right here at Santa Anita, I had one horse in my barn. His name was Orange Gem, and I ran him down at Los Alamitos. I'll never forget going into that race. I was running him for $5,000. He was my only horse. I was rubbing him every day and, you know, treating him like he was my Kentucky Derby horse. And for 4 nights, I didn't sleep. I thought, if I lose this horse, I'm down to nothing. I ran him there. We got the money. We won. And 2 weeks later, I came right here to Santa Anita. I jumped him. Triple jumped him up to $10,000 claiming, and he won again. And at that point, B.J. Wright showed up at the winner's circle, and he said, "Pender, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm training racehorses." He goes, "Well, 30 years ago, you were throwing touchdowns as my quarterback in football." I said, "Yeah, well, you know, our paths kind of joined, and we came back together, and he sent me my first horse, and we've been on a roll ever since."
You certainly have been on a roll. I mean, let's focus firstly on Ultimate Eagle. This is a horse that won the Oak Tree Derby. Then he came back, and he's just won the Hollywood Derby. Now, what are the plans moving forward with Ultimate Eagle?
Well, we're entering right now as we speak. They're drawing entries for opening day at the racing office, and we do have him entered in the Sir Beaufort, which is going a mile here on the turf. There's going to be quite a bit more speed than we found in the Hollywood Derby or the Oak Tree Derby, and we're going to see if he can sit off the pace and come run him down. I think he's got multiple gears, and he's just a fantastic horse, and I'm so fortunate and blessed to have him.
You know, you're talking about Ultimate Eagle. You called your shot on this one back over at Oak Tree, and there might have been a lot of people who are thinking, really, 34 to 1, 35 to 1, are you really that confident?
Yeah, Steve Anderson of the Daily Racing Form had me out in his paddock thing, and he asked me, "Do you really like your horse today?" There was about 100 people there, and I looked them all in the eye and guaranteed that he would win. I mean, he was training that good. that I felt there was no way anybody was going to get in his path that day. And Martin Pedrosa had worked him 3 times before the race, and we were just absolutely confident that we were sitting on a huge effort.
How special was it for you to get that victory right here at Santa Anita?
Well, I mean, I've chosen Arcadia as the place to raise my family, and I love it out here. And Arcadia is the great race place. There's no other racetrack like it. So to win that, it was just the feather in the cap that me and Mr. Wright had been dreaming of. We still have a lot of goals to attain, and this game can be so incredibly humbling that I could be down to 1 horse again in less than 2 months. I know how the business works, but we have other goals in mind as well. We've got some good 2-year-olds coming up.
You nearly lost this horse for colic.
Yeah.
I mean, what was going on back then?
We bought him as a 2-year-old, and we turned him out immediately. We wanted to freshen up his legs after the sale process, and I got the call in the middle of the night. He's showing signs of colic. We put him on the van. We followed him out to the veterinary clinic, and about 6 hours later, they informed me that they're going to have to put him down and or do surgery. And we weren't gonna do surgery. We just asked this horse with everything in our heart to try to pull through. We were praying for him and pulling for him, and by an act of God, I mean, it's such an emotional. It was such an emotional day. I'll never forget it, to see this horse pull through the way that he did. It's hard to even recount it without getting a little emotional, but he made it through, and it's almost like he has something to prove now.
Speaking of proving, you were as confident as you were in winning the Oak Tree Derby. You're pretty confident this horse would be better on the dirt than the synthetic that you've been running on him sometimes.
What he does in his workouts on the dirt, I've never had a horse do.
Really?
He'll fly through an internal quarter in 21 and just bounce off the track and meet me back at the barn and not blow out a match. And I kind of look at him and think, my God, maybe you really were sent from some other place, because he shouldn't be here. First of all, he somehow survived this nasty bout of colic, which 99% of all the other horses don't make it through. And it's just a blessing. It's unbelievable that the things that he can do in the morning.
It's sometimes magical and sometimes amazing what is accomplished here at the racetrack. And as far as the MVP is concerned, well, it didn't exactly start at the racetrack. We're going to take our first time out. When we return, we're going to talk more with Mike Pender. We're also going to find out how he got his start. We'll be back with more as Across the Board, trainer Mike Pender continues.